Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here today with the Chamber of Thrift Banks. My name is John Janishak, and I am with UBX, the FinTech Venture Studio and Venture Fund spun out of Union Bank of the Philippines. I'm excited to share how UBX is responding to help thrift banks embrace open finance and drive financial inclusion. The basic underlying premise of open banking is that data held by banks and financial service providers on their customers belongs to their customers. Open finance refers to the sharing and leveraging of customer permission data among banks, other financial institutions, and third parties to build innovative financial solutions. With the BSP's circular on an open finance framework, open banking is coming to the Philippines. We think this represents a huge opportunity for thrift banks to quickly digitize, extend your reach, and expand the solutions you offer by an order of magnitude. At the same time, only 1 billion people in the world today have access to fairly full-fledged financial services, banking without currency controls, and international reach. 2 billion have no bank account at all, and the remaining 4.5 billion have limited access to financial services. For UBX, our vision is opportunity and access for all. Our tagline is include everyone. For UBX and for thrift banks, open banking is about including all 7.5 billion. On top of this, the pandemic has greatly affected individuals, businesses, and communities. Going digital is becoming a necessity in order to survive and thrive under a new normal. Opportunity and access to needed technology and digitally enabled services has become essential. We need to include everyone. We believe data, in particular, consent-driven data portability, can be an equalizer in terms of providing access and opportunity to heretofore excluded individuals, businesses, and communities. Financial inclusion means both access to financial products, like having a basic transaction account, and usage. For example, using that account to make transfers, to manage money, rather than merely withdrawing funds once a month. By providing access to transaction data and enabling low-value payments, open banking can help foster innovation that targets the underbanked, offering legitimate alternatives to inefficient and ineffective financial practices which target the underserved today. I'd like to share some examples of how we see open banking concretely driving inclusion in partnership with thrift banks. Building credit capacity. By using a digital payment mechanism, the underbanked population can begin to build a financial profile and a transaction history. This can be shared with lenders, like thrift banks, to better understand actual risk profiles, and fintechs to build better credit scores, all improving access to affordable credit. Supporting MSMEs, perennially underserved financially. Both business and financial transaction data can be used to provide access to much needed credit. With banking utility baked into the activities that matter, like ordering and storing raw goods, and supporting a wide array of payment options preferred by their customers. Improving and sustaining financial health. Imagine the bundling of a savings product and insurance into the remittances sent home by our OFWs. And the gig economy, not just access to digital accounts and wallets and digital payment instruments. Gig economy platforms can be used to embed and extend nano loans and micro insurance based on the workers' activities on their platforms. These are but a few possibilities. The main takeaway is that an open finance framework drives innovation, drives the digitization of thrift banks, extends the reach of thrift banks, and the solutions they can offer their customers. At about the same time as other jurisdictions started making moves on open banking a few years ago, we at UBX noticed a few things. Digital platforms were acquiring customers at scale and at a scale far surpassing that of traditional financial institutions. More and more, these digital platforms were facilitating the activities and the experiences that truly matter to individuals and businesses. This is readily reflected in the value ascribed to tech companies over banks in the financial markets. So we set out to build digital platforms for digitally and financially underserved communities not being addressed by big tech, while at the same time aggregating and virtualizing financial services for embedding into our platforms and into the platforms of others. For example, our CCAP lending platform has registered over 50,000 MSMEs and has processed well over 4 billion pesos worth of business loans within an open end-to-end digital lending experience that matches borrowers with over 13 different lenders, with more lenders joining the platform every day. CCAP is embedded into platforms merchants rely on, such as Lazada and Foodpanda. We welcome thrift banks to digitize their lending experience and distribute their lending products through CCAP. Bucks, our embeddable payments platform, powers over 100,000 businesses, giving them access to the widest array of payment options through a single platform and API, including the largest aggregation of over-the-counter locations in the country, making even cash payments digital for the merchant and digital to the last mile for customers. Centro has allowed over 30,000 local merchants get online and start selling literally in minutes with digital payments and delivery integrated out of the box. These are easy services that you can offer to digitally enable your MSME customers and provide additional revenue streams. You can also leverage Bucks to supercharge your collections capability and reach. UBX's Eye-to-Eye connects hundreds of financial institutions and thousands of community-based financial service providers to each other, to the national retail payment system, and to the domestic remittance networks of the country, supporting a multiplicity of digital banking services such as real-time payments, mobile ATM, insurance, and digital lending. I encourage all chamber members to join their fellow thrift banks on the Eye-to-Eye platform and start digitizing your banking services today. If the interoperability between financial institutions on Eye-to-Eye as a platform for accelerating financial innovation sounds like open finance, you'd be right. Putting this all together, for the last 2.5 years, UBX has innovated around an open finance framework. It is purposely designed to enable the customer's financial journey, enabling them with a low hurdle way to create a financial footprint, channels to credit should they need it, and access to funds by establishing interoperability between hundreds of financial institutions and thousands of community-based financial service providers. Within this ecosystem of interrelated financial services, data subjects can move seamlessly from one service to another. For thrift banks, UBX helps you digitize, extend your reach, whether originating loans, collecting or dispersing payments, or offering value-added digital services like mobile ATM or sachet-sized insurance. In other jurisdictions, we have seen that open finance is occurring along two dimensions. In the US and China, mostly market pull up to now through solutions like Mint, Plaid, WeChat, and Alipay. In the United Kingdom and Europe, a heavy regulatory push with mandatory participation by CMA9 and through PSD2, respectively, with a commensurate market pull through digital challenger banks. In some jurisdictions like Mexico with their new fintech law, we are seeing a regulatory push ahead of a market pull. We see UBX's existing traction representing a market pull that highly complements a regulation-driven push by the BSP with their open finance framework. Just like we connected hundreds of smaller financial institutions to NRPS through Eye-to-Eye, we can leverage this reach to include the long tail of the financial services ecosystem in open finance. We allow smaller players to leapfrog across the scaling gap to get them to a technology level that can place them, in some aspects, at par with the biggest players. We can include everyone, thrift banks, smaller financial institutions, non-banks, other service providers, and most importantly, their customers, in the innovation promised by open finance day one. As a concrete example of practical open banking, I'd like to share Eye-to-Eye Banco sa Barangay. For thrift banks, Banco sa Barangay means many things: reducing costs and enhancing customer experience by digitizing your loans origination and approval processes, expanding your distribution reach by optionally selling your loans through eye-to-eye agents, through other digital platforms, and even on our online marketplace. And at your discretion, offering lending products of other lenders that complement your products so that you can acquire and service your customers, even if you do not underwrite the specific lending product they need at a given point in time, all the while earning origination fee income. Today, I'm also excited to share Expanse. UBX's open finance infrastructure opens the UBX infrastructure and aggregation of financial services and providers to developers. Expanse will not just connect developers to programmable financial services across hundreds of financial institutions in the Philippines and customers to innovation through control of their data. It will connect customers and traditional financial markets to the world's most innovative financial operating system and the future of banking. This is the opportunity that's before us. UBX is responding to help in the BSP's drive for open finance and financial inclusion, and to digitally transform thrift banks. We are promoting the adoption of innovative solutions and services through our platforms, and now UBX expands to include everyone. Thank you to the Chamber of Thrift Banks for partnering on this mission, and thank you to everyone for sharing in our vision of opportunity and access for all. I would like to close by posing a question. What happens when you connect all 110 million Filipinos to a digital economy without any barrier to access? Thank you.